All right, welcome back for today's episode. Today we're going to get into the Cavs, kind of their mid-season analysis between Jovanni and I. We got special guest Jovanni here. And really, Jovanni and I are going to look at and kind of talk about, just kind of give our opinions and analysis on whether the Cavs, who are having a great start to the year, are, truly contenders, or if maybe they're pretenders like in years past and they kind of just fizzle out toward the end. And we'll see. We'll see what we can come up with and maybe give you some hot takes at the end. All right?
Right.
Jovanni, you doing good?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jovanni. So first things first, let's take a look at the first half of the season here. What do you think impressed you the most about the first half of the season?
I guess pretty much the 3-point shooting so far, and then pretty much the 3 All-Stars we have this year of Donovan, Evan, and Darius, and the new coach in Kenny. I guess this first half of the season was pretty much a success so far.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably the best, first half of the season that we've ever had. Even going back, we've mentioned it before, going back to the LeBron teams, I don't even think we've had this good of a run to start the season. There have been a couple teams that have been comparable, but nobody that's really stuck out quite like this team. I think this team's definitely got a different dynamic. I think that they play better as a team than, just leaning on one guy. And as I was looking over some of the stats, I think that's really evident. And we'll kind of talk about that here in a second. I'll see what you think about some things. But, right now we're 44-10. We're first place in the East going into the break. Big win over the Raptors. And, what do you think? Did you watch the game last night?
Yeah, I did.
What did you think about the ending?
Pretty much wild.
Yeah, how do you feel about some garbage time dunks on another team?
I was in shock. My dad was like ready to go to bed until I saw that fight, and I said, "Whoa, what do we got here?" At the end of the game.
That's one of those things that's it's an unwritten rule of basketball, right? So at the end of the game, if you have a chance to just dribble it out and kill the clock and just let the game end and handshake at the end, but Tristan Thompson, maybe he feels like he hasn't touched the ball enough yet this year, so he decided he was going to go showtime, huh?
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the same side as the Raptors there. I wouldn't have been too happy about that. But yeah, so in my opinion, we're talking about the first half of the season and some of the things that just kind of stood out. You gotta mention that 15-game winning streak to start the season. That was just really impressive. Setting some records, and then you look at on top of that, you look at the teams that are probably going to be the contenders, and you got Boston, the Knicks, Pacers, the Bucks, and that's in the East. And then you go over to the West, and you got the Nuggets and the Lakers and Oklahoma City, and Cavs have stood toe to toe with each of them, and all of them are relatively healthy. There's no team that's missing their superstar. So, based on those first half wins, what do you think? Do you think that is this the NBA that nobody really starts playing until April? Or do you think those were legit wins that we can compete with those teams?
I would go with the second one. I think we could face either the Bucks, the Pacers, or even the Celtics in the playoffs. We just gotta play better than last season if we have to play the Celtics again in the playoffs.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get that. I would definitely say the Celtics are the measuring mark, right? Like they're, even though we're ahead of them right now, I just feel like they're special. What they have is special. They've got a great player in Tatum and Brown, and they've got a good team around them and a great coach. And I just think that, that regardless of their record going in, if they're the 1 or the 2 seed, that they're going to be able to do something special, to make a run, just like last year. Okay. All right. So that brings us kind of to the competition. Let's talk about the East.
Okay.
How do you feel about where we stand right now? Do you think being in first place is good, or run up the?
I was in shock. I wasn't really in shock while we got first place. I thought the Celtics were gonna continue with the first place at the start of the season until we just skyrocketed up to first place. So I guess I'm comfortable with being in first place. We just gotta hang out in the second half of the season, then we'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we've built a really commanding lead, and I think that might work out in our favor. At first I was like, it doesn't really matter. Just make the playoffs. Don't be playing for one of those play-in games or anything like that, where something or anything could go wrong. Where we've been maybe 2 years ago, but now we're looking at getting a first-round seed, playing one of those play-in teams, and really getting the position that we want going into the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think that if we can get to the Eastern Conference Finals and be healthy, you get up against a team like Boston or even the Knicks, like we played last year. I would love for the Knicks and Boston to beat up on each other before they come play us, right? If we end up playing, let's say the Bucks, and they did officially trade Middleton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're good, but they're definitely trying to find their identity too. So I just think that we're a little bit ahead of them. They have a better overall player and Giannis, but I think that they might not have the role players like we do. Or the depth. So yeah, so Boston's definitely the team I'm worried about. I was watching the Knicks the other day. I really think they're pretty good. They made a couple nice moves in the offseason, and they were the team that gave us a lot of trouble last year. So what do you think, Boston?
Yeah, probably Boston.
Boston. Yeah, if I had to pick 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, I'd say us and Boston right now are probably the 2 likely candidates. So, all right, players to watch. So with this section or the segment of the episode, I want to talk a little bit about the guys, and you might know a lot more than I do. I know you kind of follow them a lot closer. So, how do you feel about? I mean, we all know Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is the heartbeat of the team. He's the leading scorer. He's the facilitator. You need a guy in crunch time. You got Donovan Mitchell. Last year, Donovan Mitchell, I don't want to say he let us down, because I think there were a couple different injuries that, you get to that Boston game and, we don't have Jarrett Allen, and then Mitchell's hurt in game 2 and 3, and it's basically a wash at that point. So without mentioning Mitchell, how do you feel about the other guy? Who are the other guys that have to step up?
I would say probably Isaac Okoro. Probably.
That's a good one. Yeah, so I was looking over some stats, and Niang and who was the other one that we traded?
LeVert.
Yeah, Caris LeVert. So those 2 were our 6th and 7th scorers. And getting rid of them, I think Okoro has to step up big time. I agree with you there. Outside of Jarrett and Mobley, we don't have very much size. So as soon as, if Allen gets into foul trouble or Mobley gets into foul trouble, we could be in pretty big trouble running against a bigger team. If we play against like Cat in New York, Karl Anthony Towns, or stuff like that. We need that length in the paint. So, yeah, I agree with you. Okoro is a big one. I think he's definitely going to have to step up.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I mean, not. I mean, I think that's it, except maybe Max Strus. I mean, he's been he was a little bit worse in the couple first half games of the season, but now he's like back to being normal. So I guess Max Strus maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree with Max Strus as well. He's that other bench guy that we're definitely going to have to lean on. Because I mean, after our well, up until this point, and we'll kind of get to where I'm going with this, but up until this point, you have your starting four. Karis LeVert was pretty good, and then after that, it kind of fell off. The points totals were slim. I mean, everybody's a competitor, but at the same time, can they help carry some of the load? And that's Strus and Okoro definitely are two of those guys that I think could fill into those roles if they step up. Evan Mobley, how you feel about Evan right now?
Man, this is probably the best year I ever saw Evan Mobley so far in his career. I mean, he is having his career year so far in his first ever All-Star, and he's even going to the skills competition with Donovan too. So
Yeah.
I would say his season so far is amazing.
Yeah. I looked up. In my opinion, I know. I kind of mentioned that Donovan Mitchell's the heartbeat of the team. I thought that Evan Mobley is the X factor. Now he's not even the second leading scorer on the team. Darius Garland's the second leading scorer on the team, but when I say X factor, I mean the guy who, if we were to lose one player, I think Evan Mobley would be more of a punishment than anyone else, because he is so efficient at what he does. He's up there at the top in rebounding. He's up there at the top in blocking. He's up there in the top of points. He has a hand in everything, and so he's the most essential player on that team, in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, Garland, Allen, they're crucial. They are the guys that you need on a team to make a playoff run or to win 44 games before the All-Star break. Those are the guys, that you get these teams that have all-star, superstar players, but it's just that guy or a couple of guys. You get 4 guys, 5 guys. Now you're talking about, hey, can we make a run? And so that's where I think that this might be the year. This might be the one where, you hate to say it because we're only used to the Cavs with LeBron, right? So I definitely think that Garland and Allen, they could, as long as they're healthy, man, they could be huge for us. All right, so the next one, DeAndre Hunter. We go out, we make a move, we lose 2 of our guys, clutch, crucial parts of our team. However, what we picked up was a former 4th overall pick in a team that's struggling in Atlanta. So they were looking to make a move to clear some cap space. And I was kind of looking at it. DeAndre Hunter is averaging 18.5 points a game. He's a 58% three-point shooter. He is what we're missing, in my opinion. They made a great move in going out and getting this guy. One of the weakest areas for the Cavs and throughout has been their three-point shooting. You have Donovan Mitchell, great three-point shooter. You have Darius Garland. He's a good three-point shooter. But after that, we don't really have anybody. Evan Mobley has started to shoot a little bit better, but he's just not a three-point shooting threat per se. You're not going to have to double team or go over screens with him. This guy stretches the floor. This guy makes it so that they can't sink down in the paint when Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen are there. They have to spread their defense out. So, I don't know. How do you feel about the move?
I mean, when I saw that trade, I said, okay, well, we're getting a really good three-point shooter. We'll see how he does in Cleveland. Well, now 2 games later, with the Timberwolves game and the Raptors game, I think he made like 7 or 8 threes in his first 2 games with the Cavs. I think he is definitely the missing piece to a championship contender here.
Yeah, I mean, I know when the Cavs, who did the Cavs go get that year we won it all? Who was the 3-point shooter then? Oh, who was it? Kyle Korver. Yeah, Kyle Korver. Yeah, I think that you definitely, when you have a team or somebody like Donovan Mitchell who can just cut through the lane, you got to have a 3-point shooter, because if you don't, then you get these guys just like creeping down in. Now you got pressure and you're not getting a clean shot. So, yeah, I think that I'm really excited for this. I liked LeVert. I like Niang. I don't think Niang was going to bring a whole lot to the table. He was just going to end up being a bench guy in the long run. But this has potential to make our starting 5 probably the best starting 5 in the NBA. What do you think? Is that a hot take?
Yeah.
Do the Cavs have the best starting 5 in the NBA?
Probably, I would not say the best starting 5 in the NBA, but we still got potential. I got to say top 5 of the best starting lineup in the NBA so far this year.
Okay, so if the Cavs aren't your top 5, who are you putting up there? Who are we competing against for that?
The Celtics, maybe the Knicks.
Okay. I think that the Celtics definitely have a better top 3 for sure. Yeah, but okay. All right. So last segment here, and then we'll do some hot takes. But the last segment here is the road ahead. What do we need to do to get to the let's just say the Eastern Conference Finals? I'm not worried about the finals or anything like that. We got to win 2 series. What do we got to do to get there?
I mean, we gotta play better. We gotta play a good basketball here, and we just gotta play until the buzzer sounds. Then we'll see how the series goes if we make it. But I would say that if we play either the Celtics, Knicks, Pacers, or the Bucks, then it might be a 7-game series.
Yeah. Yeah, you already said it all. I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier. Our bench has to step up. Like I said, we have a good starting 5, but we gotta get some garbage points here and there. You gotta have a couple guys that are willing to come in, make some defensive stops, score some buckets while Mobley or Allen are taking a break, right?
Yeah.
And that's something where we haven't done the greatest at. And then we got the 3-point shooter in Hunter, I believe. I think that's one thing that we really needed. But I think the biggest thing is we got to stay away from injuries. We got to stay away from them. I think that's what killed us last year. So
yeah.
not like you can really control it, but yeah. All right. Last segment, hot take. What's your prediction on the second half of the season? How many wins? So we're 44-10. Let's say there's 45. There's 50 more games left in the season. How many do we win?
Man, this is tough because I haven't looked at the records so much on all those seasons. But I would say we would probably be in the 60s, maybe 65, and maybe 65 wins, maybe. I don't know. Probably 70. I don't know, but maybe 65. Yeah, I would say. I would say 62-10, probably. No problem. Is there no problem here? Yeah, I might say 62. I might say 72 wins. I think.
You too? Okay, I'm gonna go 68. I think that, if we right now we have that 5.5 point lead, I think that if we can keep it around there for a while, we might try and coast into the playoffs, give some guys some breaks. Maybe. I'm gonna sit around 68. Getting over that. I mean, you think back to the Warriors that we ended up beating. They had what was it, 73 wins in regular season. Yeah, that's a special season, that right there. So I don't know if we're quite there yet, but yeah, 68. We'll say 60. I'll say 68. You're saying what again?
72-10.
All right. Okay. All right. What do you think? How do we finish?
The record.
Well, no. Do we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and fizzle out, or are we making the finals?
I think we might make the finals. Maybe we might make the Eastern Conference Finals. But
okay. I think. All right. So there's your pick. You're playing the finals. I think that our best shot is if we get that first seed, and that would pin Boston and the Knicks or the Bucks against each other. They beat up on each other in a 7-game series. You have to play 4 games in Cleveland. I'm saying we go to the finals too. This is the year.
Yeah.
My fear is, I wouldn't be upset if we play Oklahoma City. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're anything special. I think they have some great young players. I mean, Gilchrist is an animal. But they're beatable. They're young. They don't have a lot of experience. The team that I'm always worried about is the Nuggets, though. I think that their players they're built completely different. They've got guys that aren't stoppable. So you kind of have to rely on their bench guys and their role playing guys to kind of have bad nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right, Jovanni. Any last thoughts before we sign off?
I'm really surprised that Luka Dončić was really traded. Non-Cavs talk here. I'm really surprised Luka got traded.
That was a weird trade. That was weird. I think that there was some shady stuff going on there. I think that something's going on in the Mavs camp.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, you don't give up literally your future that easily.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. I'd be like when LeBron was 25, us trading him for Dwight Howard. That's basically what that trade was like. Seriously, that's what it was. So that was weird.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Non-Cavs talk. Well, I guess it's kind of Cavs talk. Who's gonna win the All-Star MVP?
I might say. My goodness. Maybe.
Give it a second. Think about it.
Jay.
Who?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay. I'm going to say, where is the All-Star game this year?
Golden State.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to say it's going to Curry. He's going to hit He's going to hit 10 threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Golden State in front of the fans. They'll stage it. It's fixed.
Yeah, they might.
It'd be pretty awesome if like Donovan could get it, but I don't know. He's probably coming off the bench, isn't he?
No, he's a starter.
He's a starter? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jovanni. I appreciate you coming on again, and hopefully all our predictions and thoughts come true, because a Cavs final would be amazing. That'd be fun to watch in April and May. So, all right, man. Take care. We'll see you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See you guys.